When I was 10 years old, I pulled out an entire eyebrow. And from there, I continued to pull out my hair from my head, from my eyebrows, from my eyelashes, from my legs. Now, a lot of you guys know this about me. It's called trichotillomania. I'm pretty vocal about it. But a lot of you are pretty new around here. So I wanted to kind of share my story with why I pulled out my hair, how I stopped, and like kind of the effects that this had. It really did change my life. So first, how it started. Like I said, I was 10 years old. I was pretty bored, and I remember I was kind of just playing with my eyebrow, and eventually I realized that it didn't really hurt to remove the pieces of said eyebrow. I figured that it wasn't going to make a big difference, but I remember I looked in the reflection of the car and it was just gone. Of course, my parents were a little bit concerned, but I think that they kind of just tracked it down to a typical Sloane the Rapper antic. And for about 2 years after that, I was done until I wasn't. What started out as a little scab in the back of my head turned into me not just scratching at my skin, but pulling out the hair. Now, a lot of people ask, does this hurt? Like, did it hurt to literally pull your hair out of your scalp? Because, you know, if someone else did that, that would totally hurt. But I think that the thing about trichotillomania, or what this is called, is it kind of does hurt, but in a good way. That sounds freaky, bro. But that really is how I describe it. And I think it's different for everyone. But for me, like, it actually was, like, something that was satisfying for me to do. Which is obviously really sad because it's not something that's good for you to do. And it was especially a reprieve whenever I was really stressed out or angry, which happened to me quite a lot, especially during my ballet years. And ballet is an amazing, beautiful thing, but for me, it really was something that was stressful, something that was bad for me, something that I simply just wasn't meant to do. I had a lot of pent-up anxiety, a lot of anger, a lot of stress, and all of that led to me just pulling my hair out more and more. Eventually, I had a pretty large bald spot all around this area. You could see it when I did my ballet bun, and I remember girls were pretty mean about it at this one summer intensive that I did. They would like make jokes about me having cancer, which honestly is like disrespectful to say, like weird behavior. And it honestly made me sad, but it didn't really matter as much to me, and still I started posting online. This was one of the things that made me go viral in the first place because everyone noticed it and I was not like ashamed to hide it. I honestly thought it was okay. I was like, yeah, my hair's a little messed up, the pieces were growing in short and like jagged, and people would comment on it because it looked a little silly. There was so much hate. I just remember all the top comments would just be like, what is wrong with her hair? Why does she look like that? Just every single day. It was so hard for me to hear, especially because that would only make it worse. Whenever I was more stressed out from the hate, I would pull it out more. So it's this absolute doom cycle. I was okay with the fact that I was getting those comments because for every 30 comments making fun of it, I would get a message from a girl saying that she had never seen someone with trichotillomania on social media before. I was willing to take that sacrifice because it felt good to raise awareness. At my school, people were actually not that mean about it. I think most people were pretty understanding. I remember I had like a few friends that would make fun of me for wearing a hat to school most days, and overall it just made me feel like ugly. Like I could just never feel pretty, and all I would do is just like pray and just beg, like please, like I wish my hair like went down all the way. To this day, it's still short in the back. You can tell, like it stops here. But honestly, to me, the fact that it's even grown out a little bit is such a miracle and a blessing. I also only made it worse at the time because I would straighten it, I dyed it blonde, I would do anything to conceal the shortness, but honestly, that only made it worse. Because then not only was the hair short, but it was brittle, it was fried, it was damaged. I used to go back and like private those old videos and feel really ashamed about the way that it looked. But I think that I'm much more aware now that those times and like those periods were a huge part of what made me the person that I am today. Now whenever I see other people being mean to people, like I'm filled with this sense of like rage and I just want to defend them. And honestly, I think that that's a good thing to have because I really do care about people and I really do believe that you are defined beyond your physical appearance. And I had to learn how to find my own value that wasn't based in being called pretty or anything like that. I had to recognize that, hey, I'm still Sloane, I'm still smart, I'm still talented, I still have all these things going for me, even if, you know, people are being mean about my hair, my looks. If it's something that you're struggling with, please don't make the mistake I did. Please get help. Ask your parents for help. Ask your therapist for help. Ask your friends for help. Your school. For me, I would say the most helpful was wearing a bonnet at all times so that I literally didn't have access. And just removing stress from my life. I stopped doing ballet. I picked up things like reading, going into the forest because those brought me a lot of peace. So yes, now those who didn't know, they know. I did pull up my hair and I do my best to stop, and I wouldn't change it for the world because now I get to share and hopefully help other people too. Love you guys. Bye.